Hey everyone, Michael Jamin. Today we're going to talk about script formatting. These are some of the shows I've written on, a lot of comedies, done some dramas, whatever. But basically there are three formats for scripts, main formats. You got your multi-camera, your single cameras, and your animation. So let's start with multi-camera. So multi-camera would be like Big Bang Theory. It's a show that's shot in front of a live studio audience with 4 cameras, and it's like a proscenium. It's like live theater. So you got 2 cameras here on the wings and 2 cameras in the front, and that's how they're shot. It's called multi-camera. So notice the differences. As opposed to single camera, a single camera show might be like Modern Family that's shot on location or on a sound stage, but there's no audience, so you shoot usually with 1 camera at a time. Sometimes they do 2, but they usually call it single camera. And movies the same way. They call movies are single camera, even though occasionally they use multi cameras, or maybe they always use multi cameras. But it's not shot in front of a studio audience. So that's the big difference. So this is the multi-camera format. The first thing you'll notice when you're formatting is between your act 1 and scene letter A, you got a big margin, right? I don't know why there is, but there's this big giant space between the act 1 and when you start hit fade in. Now, multi-camera format also has scene letters as opposed to scene numbers. I don't know why. So every scene has its own letter, except certain letters are not used. And the letters that are not used are NOTFIG, as well as sometimes other letters depending on the show. So it spells out not fig. So when you're writing your script, you don't want to use letter O and letter I and for your scene letters. Why is that? I think it's because when the camera crew they mark the floors, they put tape on the floors. I think those letters are kind of hard to see, upside down, or O looks like a 0, whatever. So they don't use those. And I don't really ask why. Just agree not to use their stupid letters. Okay. The next thing you'll notice, okay, there's your scene letter, is now this is a shooting script. Now, when you're writing your script, whatever it is, when you're turning it into try to get work or going to show it to a Hollywood insider or whatever, you don't want to give them a shooting script. I'm showing you a shooting script. Why don't you want to give them a shooting script? Well, because you're not shooting it. And if you do, you kind of look like, what is this guy, a tool? The person's going to say, oh, are you planning on shooting this tomorrow? And you're like, no, I just want to pretend like I'm shooting it tomorrow. So you don't want to turn in a shooting script. You want to turn in a writer's draft because you're a writer. So things like this, this is the slug line, interior diner, Friday morning, day 1. So in a shooting script, it says 1. So it's day 1. You don't need the 1 in your writer's draft. Why not? Well, the 1 is just for like the wardrobe department would want to know it's day 1 because they need to know on day 2 the character has to wear something else. Day 3 they have to wear something else. But for your writer's draft, I recommend not putting in any of that garbage that's just for the crew, because it bogs down my eye. It's just like you want to give the reader less. Less is more. Let them focus on the important stuff, which is the words and what's happening in the plot, right? The same thing below. This is the character list. Lydia, Stuart, Ben, Oliver, Regina. This was for a show called Out of Practice, which I wrote on many years. It's a really good show. Henry Winkler, Stockard Channing, and Ty Burrell. Great. Okay. But this is a character list. You don't need that in your shooting draft. You want to put that in your writer's draft. You don't need it in your writer's draft. It's only in a shooting draft. The person who needs this is the assistant director, the AD. The AD will need to know for each scene, who the actors have to go to rehearsal that day. So, but you don't need that, right? You're just doing a writer's draft. So leave this out. Then there's this. This is the stage direction. All this. Oliver reads a newspaper table. Ben approaches and pulls up a seat. Now, for the first mention of a character in an episode of television, or your pilot, whatever, the first time that character appears on screen, you underline it. Just so, hey, we're meeting Oliver for the first time. But look how little stage direction there is here. This was not a pilot. This was a regular episode. But there's not a lot of stage direction. Well, why is that? Because whoever's reading your script doesn't want to read stage direction. They want to read the dialogue. That's what you're being hired for. Stage direction is boring to read. Often when I'm reading a spec script, I skip right over the stage direction. I'll figure it out. I don't want to see it. Bogs it down. When you have a table read, the table read is the first day of rehearsal, right? And all the actors sit around the table, all the writers and studio executives, and you're rehearsing it. You're singing on, you're reading it for the first time. And the director usually reads the action lines. Sometimes this is called the action line. They read the stage direction. And anytime the director opens his or her mouth, it's like, ooh, you could feel the energy coming out of the room. No one wants to hear it, so you keep it short. A good director will even, if it's a long block, they'll skim through it. Less is more. And by the same token, you don't want to write music stings in your script, because why not? Because you're not a musician, you're a writer. You don't want to put too many camera shots. Why not? Because you're a writer, you're not the director. Less is more. You're writing dialogue. If I can't figure out what's going on from the dialogue, you got a problem. My course teaches you how to do all that, but whatever. Okay. Then remember, first appearance of the character gets underlined. So this is single camera format. Look how different it is. See, the dialogue is much tighter. It's you don't have that double space between it. So that's one distinction. The other thing is the margin's much smaller. You don't have that giant space after Act 1. And the second thing is you don't have scene numbers. Scene letters, you have scene numbers, and they're put over here. But again, this is a shooting script, not a writer's draft. So you wouldn't have that one there. And you don't need day 1 over there. You would just write interior unspecified day. Again, why can't I just turn a shooting script? Why don't I just make a shooting? Because you look like a fool, right? That's like going to a 4th of July party, dressed in your military outfit. Look, I'm in the Army. It's like, well, were you in the Army? No, but I'm pretending to be in the Army. Okay, but you're not in the Army, so don't turn on a shooting script. So, okay, now in this case, because there's always an exception to every rule, right? We do have some camera work in here. Close on Mark having a TMI moment. Why do we have the camera work? Is because this joke is dependent on a reveal. The premise for this little scene is Mark is talking to the camera. We don't know who he's talking to. It sounds like he's talking to his shrink. We pull out to reveal Mark is actually talking to an Orthodox rabbi. Okay, haha, that's the joke. He's not talking to a shrink. He's talking to a rabbi. But then on the next page, we do another reveal, and we pull it even further, and he's not actually talking to a rabbi. He's just talking to a guy at a jewelry store who happens to be Hasidic Jewish. So that was funny, right? So in that sense, in that instance, we need to have the camera work laid out so you get the joke. But it's not like we had so much camera work in there. We said, the camera starts cranes on high, and then we go to a single, then a tight 2-shot, and then that's the director's job. Your job is the writer. Don't do the director's job, and don't do the actor's job either. It's insulting. Do your job. Focus on your job. Okay. Again, day count. This is a shooting script. You don't need to have the day count in here, right? Day is fine. We just need to know what time of the day it is. Camera shots, again, close on Mark. That's okay. So here's the second page, or another page. Again, this is scene 10 here. So this helps the AD know, okay, so today we're shooting scenes 10, 12, and 18 in the morning or whatever, as opposed to saying we're shooting Mark's living room scene or whatever. It's just easier to have scene numbers. But again, this first shooting script, you're writing a writer's draft. You don't need that. So here is a parenthetical. The parentheticals in a single camera show go right above the dialogue. And you'll see how it's different in a multi-camera show. And by the way, again, single camera is also how they do movies, because movie is a single camera. So this applies to your drama, a feature you're writing. So why do we put playfully in here? Because the line easily could have been interpreted a different way. So you don't want to put, it was only in this case we wanted to put playfully so that the actor knew that it was not serious, it was supposed to be light. But you don't want to put too many notes in here. That's insulting for the actor. Let the actor figure it out. And if the actor can't figure it out based on your writing, you're a bad writer. So work on your writing. You don't want to give too many notes for the actors. Again, it's insulting. This is how, notice how a parenthetical is in a multi-camera show. We don't put it above the dialogue. We put it before, on the line, in the middle, and in caps. Why is that? I don't know. It's just how we do it. That's the parenthetical. Okay, so here's another page of a single camera show. OC. OC means off camera. Okay, sometimes it's written as OS, which is off stage, as opposed to VO, which is voice over. So in this case, we wrote it as off camera because Jen is actually calling up. Technically, we made a mistake. We should have written it as OS, but no one's going to catch it. OS and OC are practically the same thing. Off stage means that the character's literally nowhere to be found. Nowhere to be found. Off camera means they could be on stage, but we don't see them in that one shot. You understand? So if we're really tight on his face and this guy says, help, OC, we're not on that shot, but the character is on stage. Offstage might be, in this case, like a telephone phone call. They're off stage, right? Because they're nowhere near to be seen. Now, again, like I said, we screwed up. We wrote OC as opposed to OS. No one's coming to arrest me. I get the joke. I get the gist. The person's not on the camera. Okay, that's all you need to know. What happens if you write the wrong thing? What happens if you write OS versus OC? Nothing. Okay, relax. These are not the important things to focus on. The important stuff is what I teach in the class. I'm giving this to you for free because it's not important. Haha. Okay, it really isn't. Don't focus on this. Focus on being a better writer. This is animation format. Notice in animation, each line has a number, and usually the showrunner will direct. In my case, that's kind of what I did. Was you direct the actors, and so you say, okay, we're doing line 2, we're doing line 3, and later when you're putting assembling the track together, it's much easier to call back the line, saying, okay, I need a new take on line 4, as opposed to saying, we need even worse, which is line 4. So that's why. But other than that, it's kind of a hybrid between a multi-camera and a single camera show. Notice the dialogue is double spaced, like a multi-camera show, but this part is lowercased and tight together, the action line, like a single camera show. It's like a hybrid. Why is that? I don't know. But if you were to buy a program like Final Draft, I believe many of these shows these programs, I believe Final Draft comes preloaded with formats for a dozen or so shows. And so let's say you're writing your spec Breaking Bad, but they don't have that format in there. They have Sopranos. All right, use Sopranos. It's close enough. Every showrunner has their kind of own little way they kind of want to format it. It's close enough. It's a single camera show. It'll be close enough. Don't worry about it. No one's coming to arrest you. So that's why I say don't worry about this stuff. Worry about how to tell a compelling story. Not about, I think a lot of people search for, they want to write a script and they go, well, I have to know what it looks like. I need the right format. So they search for format and they go, look, now I have something that looks like a script. And then I would say, okay, but does it read like a script? No, but it looks like a script. Well, who cares? It's got to read like a script. Don't focus on the wrong things. Okay, so that's the line count. What did I put on this page here for? Okay, so there's other things, match cut too. These are transitions over here. That's called a transition slug. A transition is when you want to when it's important to tell how we're going into the next scene. Cut or fade are usually the main transitions, and they're so common we don't even write them in the script because why take out it takes up real estate, so we don't put it in. But sometimes you need to have something. For an example, this was match cut to, we're close on Glenn, his underpants, and we do a match cut to, the next shot is his son holding the same underpants. And it's just kind of a stylistic way of doing things where it's like, okay, we're close on the underpants, pull out the reveal, now someone else is holding the same pair of underpants. Do you need it? No, but it helps the director. It just helps get, tell them what's in your head, okay? Another example would be smash cut to. A smash cut is, you're watching some stupid sitcom. No way, the father says, no way, I'm not going to look like a fool no matter what. Forget it. Smash cut to him in a chicken outfit, right? You've seen that before. Smash cut to, now I'm in a chicken outfit. So technically a smash cut really is it's the same thing as a regular cut. There's no difference in the editing room, but we say smash cut to show that here comes the joke. Okay, that's it. That's all you need to know about formatting your script. Like I said, the important stuff is how to tell a compelling story, how to break your story. And that I can't explain in a 4 or 5 minute video. That's what the course is about. I hope you'll consider taking it because honestly, most people will tell you, well, yeah, I'm a really good writer. But when I read scripts from new writers, even writers who have made the level of, they've got an agent or a manager, 99% of the stuff I read is just mediocre at best. There's just no demand for mediocre writers. And so just because the script is formatted correctly, that's not going to get you hired. It's better than not being formatted correctly, I guess. But the important stuff is what I teach. Okay, so if you're interested, just click at the end of this. I give away 3 free lessons, just so you get a taste of how I teach. And if that's not helpful, then forget it. Go your separate way. If you do like what I'm talking about, then this might be for you. Okay, good luck.